A very good evening to you. It's just gone 8 o'clock and you are watching the main news. My name is Zain Jamu. Good evening, Joyce.
A very good evening to you, Zain, and a warm welcome to our viewers. My name is Joyce Mabika. Noble Maungwa is on sign language, and Marilyn Gwenya will be joining us later on in the bulletin from our Montrose studios in Bulawayo. Jeffrey Mrimbechu, of course, will also join us for sport. We start off with our leading stories tonight. Government targets transforming the tobacco sector into a $5 billion United States industry by 2025.
Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswere announced the government plan during this Tuesday's post-cabinet media briefing.
In business, Zimbabwe registers a 1.5% economic growth in the second quarter.
And international news, Zimbabwe calls for peace in the Gaza Strip.
Warriors to play the Zebras of Botswana in an international friendly this Saturday.
And now for the news in detail. Government has set a target to grow the tobacco industry into a $5 billion United States industry by 2025.
Zimbabwe's agricultural sector has in the recent past experienced growth as government seeks to grow the economy using natural resources. Presenting this week's post-cabinet media briefing in Harare this Tuesday, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jenfan Muswere, unpacked the tobacco transformation plan aimed at transforming the agriculture subsector into a $5 billion United States industry.
The plan seeks to increase tobacco production to 300 million kgs by the year 2025 and to transform the industry into a $5 billion industry through exports of tobacco value-added products. The nation is informed that to accelerate localization of tobacco funding to 70% of the cost of production by the year 2025, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe recently removed the requirement compelling tobacco merchants to source offshore financing to fund production and for buying green leaf from farmers. Cabinet advises that to increase the production of alternative crops and to increase their contribution to the farmers' income to 25% by the year 2025, TIMB is now offering global gap consultancy services to enable tobacco farmers to access global export markets for horticultural crops.
Dr. Muswere also briefed the nation regarding the cholera outbreak and response mechanism put in place to curb the spread of the disease, particularly in Harare and Manicaland provinces.
Cabinet advises that the following activities have since been conducted in response to the surge in cases: wash activities against cholera in Harare, Gutu, Bikita and Chiredzi districts. As sensitized on cholera in the past week, risk communication and community engagement committees were set up in 4 rural provinces of Masvingo, Matabeleland South, Manicaland and Mashonaland Central provinces.
The nation was also briefed on the activities surrounding this year's National Anti-Sanctions Day.
The SADC Anti-Sanctions Day will be held on the 25th of October 2023 under the theme Harnessing the Youth for Accelerated Socio-Economic Development in the Fight Against Sanctions. The theme recognizes the youth's resilience, courage, fortitude, and unflinching determination in the face of illegal sanctions. The youth have heeded His Excellency the President, Comrade Idi Mnangagwa's clarion call that nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, and are playing a significant role in the development of our country.
There was also an update on the mine disaster by Acting Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Daniel Garwe.
We still have up to 30 people that are underground at the moment. the ground is moving. There are some earth movements that are happening, which is threatening the lives of the rescue teams. And the operations have been stopped for now until a suitable area to enter the ground is established.
This Tuesday's cabinet also discussed the summer cropping season and the Sanganai Hlanganani World Tourism Expo that has seen 365 companies confirming attendance, up from 275 last year. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Justice Lois Matanda Moyo has been sworn in as the Prosecutor General after her recent appointment by President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Our Chief Correspondent Ruben Barwe has more.
Zimbabwe has a new Prosecutor General, Mrs. Justice Lois Matanda Moyo.
I, Emmerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, by virtue of the powers vested in me, do call upon you, Lois Matanda Moyo, to take the oaths of loyalty and office.
I, Lois Matanda Moyo, swear that I will serve Zimbabwe well and truly in the office of the Prosecutor General of Zimbabwe. So help me.
Born 56 years ago in the Honde Valley in Manicaland Province, Mrs. Justice Lois Matanda Moyo went to school in Mazoe in Mashonaland Central and St. Augustine's Penalonga in Manicaland, and then the University of Zimbabwe. The wife of the late Lieutenant General retired and Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Dr. Sibusiso Moyo, Amai Matanda Moyo is a mother of 3 boys, and her previous assignment was that of the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, ZAC. She says her work is cut out in her new role.
The job is cut out. The job of the Prosecutor General is simply to institute and conduct criminal trials. So I will be leading the team in the prosecution of criminal matters in Zimbabwe. I do understand that currently there is a backlog, and our task is to clear that backlog. As I go into that office, we are definitely going to make some certain changes. We need a culture of hard work. We need a culture of concluding cases. Cases cannot proceed for a long time. Cases must simply go into court whilst we are ready to prosecute, and within the shortest period of time, cases must be concluded before the courts.
The girl child is no longer an easy pushover as more and more women take positions of authority. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, State House.
A special envoy from Italy, Dr. Pietro Menini, has paid a courtesy call on President Emmerson Mnangagwa as the European country canvasses for support in its bid to host the World Expo 2030.
3 countries are bidding to host the 2030 edition of the world's largest exhibition, World Expo 2030. The 3 cities vying to host the world are Busan in South Korea, Rome in Italy, and Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. The intense bidding process has seen Italy taking its campaign to the African continent. A special envoy from the European country, Dr. Pietro Menini, made a stop at the State House in Harare this Tuesday, where he met President Emmerson Mnangagwa. After the closed-door meeting, Dr. Menini said Harare and Rome share cordial relations that span across various sectors, with his visit based on those strong ties.
We paid a visit to Harare to promote the candidacy of Rome to host the World Expo in 2030. We expect the final vote to take place at the end of November in Paris. And we think, and what we said is that Rome is the eternal city. There is no better candidacy, and is the ideal place to host the Expo. It's one of the most visited cities in the world, and is also a natural bridge with Africa. Italy and Zimbabwe benefit from historical relations for decades. Not only from an institutional point of view, but also in the domain of economy, art, culture. So we are not new in Zimbabwe, we are not new in the region, in Africa. We have very good relationships.
Dubai hosted the last Expo, and Osaka is set to host the 2025 Global Showcase. Zimbabwe was part of the 192 countries that attended the Dubai Expo, where various companies and government departments interacted with the world during the 6-month-long Expo as they pitched the business opportunities available in the country. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
The rehabilitation of the Bulawayo Victoria Falls Highway is on course, with some sections which have been resurfaced now open to traffic. Our Matabeleland North Bureau Chief from Mhlomuli Ncube has more.
The rehabilitation of the highway is one of the priority projects under the Second Republic, with a section that was almost impossible to navigate now open to traffic after it was reconstructed and tarred.
Mugwagwa warugadzirwa zvakanaka, tiri kufara zvisingaiti, ende vari kugadzira zvakanaka, ende pavagadzira pacho unofamba kunge uri kufona. Hauna kana chaunonzwa kunge uri kufamba mundege musina kana mabhambu.
Mugwagwa tavaona warungisa wava mubhodho, mapoto aveti biga problems, accident avawanda akuchina ibitchman wewe toyarungisa mugwagwa zokuti next coming 10 years tove kwenda zibhodho tovokakasa kushinga kwahurumende wipo Second Republic mutazukuyananakase mushango ramwa wange.
The Second Republic continues to ensure the modernization of existing infrastructure, while massive development of new structures is taking place in various parts of the country. The Harare Bay Bridge Highway is nearing completion, while other major infrastructure development projects like Gwai-Shangani Lake Project are on course. The Second Republic has already delivered the new Parliament building, modernized the Bay Bridge border post, and the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport, among other projects. Experts believe developing a sound road infrastructure is critical in building a resilient economy. Mhlomuli Ncube, ZBC News, Wange.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's economy recorded a 1.5% growth during the second quarter of the year, driven by increased agriculture and mining output, which was in turn fueled by an increase in power supplies.
According to the Zimbabwean National Statistics Agency, ZIMSTAT, sectors that recorded massive growth rates during the period under review include accommodation and food services, electricity, transport and agriculture, construction, manufacturing, and mining. ZIMSTAT data shows that the country's total gross domestic product has gone above 56 billion Zimbabwe dollars as compared to 54 billion Zimbabwe dollars recorded in the same period last year. By Zimbabwe chairperson Mr. Munyaradzi says the improved economic performance by key productive sectors is in line with the government's developmental trajectory that has seen the nation achieving huge milestones in overall macroeconomic growth rates.
Mining is growing, agriculture is growing, manufacturing is growing, though it could grow better. What is the challenge now is to ensure that our imports side is reduced in a bigger way than it is going, so that with the growth in the export, which has now gone past $7 billion, we can then retain a lot of money in the country.
Economist Dr. Zek Murerwa believes sustained growth rates depend on commitment by authorities in boosting socio-economic activities.
It's quite evident that our economy is in a growth trajectory. And this has been the case very consistently over the last year or half year or so. As we go into the last quarter and as we move towards the end of the year, the minister had projected a 5.2% growth, IMF World Bank 3.8%. But what is critical, what is important is that we are in a growth mode. The Second Republic has put in place the basic fundamentals and infrastructure to enable this economy to realize that growth.
Government is expecting the economy to register a 5.3% growth rate, being driven by anticipated growth in productive sectors of the economy. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Buyers for the Sanganai Hlanganani International Tourism Expo, who were in the Eastern Highlands, have described the tourism destination as an untapped gem due to its unique offerings.
The Eastern Highlands is home to Mount Nyangani, the highest mountain in the country, and Mtarazi Falls, which is the second highest waterfall in Africa, among other tourist attractions. Regional and international buyers who toured the Eastern Highlands ahead of the Sanganai Hlanganani International Tourism Expo have described Manicaland as a tourism gem ready to be explored.
It's something, you would really want to promote for your clients because it's something different, something unique, and it's something that your clients or every client would love to see if they have been, or if they've been to Zimbabwe, for example, Victoria Falls or other parts of Africa. But this is something really, in one word, if I have to explain, I would say wow. It's really a wow.
If we look at the Eastern Highlands itself, the beautiful scenery, the mountains, the very friendly weather that we are experiencing, despite other areas being too hot, I think that makes it ideal for adventure seekers.
It's my first time to Zimbabwe and I am totally blown away. I would like to say I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I really enjoyed the activities that I got to experience this side. This place should just be packaged as an adventure place.
African Union Tourism Board Global Ambassador Didier Bayeye was also surprised by Manicaland's unique tourism offerings, with local operators satisfied with engagements to market their destination.
I would like to encourage and invite a lot of Africans, the lovers of nature, the lovers of environment, to come and discover this gem that is not known.
We applaud ZTA for bringing them out to the Eastern Highlands so that they get an appreciation of the undiscovered gem and activities that we offer in the Eastern Highlands.
Meanwhile, the Sanganai Hlanganani International Tourism Expo kicks off this Thursday in Bulawayo. Kenya Sifuje, ZBC News, Mutari.
Confusion continues to reign supreme in the opposition Citizens Coalition for Change amid claims by one of the opposition party's top officials that he has expelled Triple C leader Nelson Chamisa. This comes after 15 Triple C legislators were recalled from Parliament by the same individual.
The opposition political outfit has found itself in a difficult spot as the doctrine of strategic ambiguity is backfiring after 15 legislators were recalled from Parliament, while party president Nelson Chamisa has reportedly been expelled. One Sengezo Shawangu, who claims to be the Triple C interim Secretary General, recently wrote to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mdenda, recalling 15 legislators before he also sent a notice this Tuesday announcing the expulsion of party leader Nelson Chamisa. In a statement, Shawangu claimed that Tendai Biti and Professor Woshwe Ngube are now the acting presidents of the party. However, Mr. Biti disowned Shawangu's statement in a telephone interview with ZBC News, saying Chamisa is the party leader. For political analyst Mr. Takuzwa Gambiza, the drama unfolding in the Triple C is a reflection of the poor leadership, which has become synonymous with the opposition political party.
The political immaturity of the leadership, particularly the political immaturity of Mr. Chamisa, who is doing politics as if it's student activism, which he used to do at Harare Polytechnic there. There is no structure, there is no strategy, and there is no ideology. So it's just a movement of people. By virtue of them claiming that it's a citizens' movement, it then means anyone in the streets who is a citizen of Zimbabwe can go to Parliament and challenge and say, I'm recalling ABC, because it's a structureless movement.
Another political commentator, Mr. Gibson Yikazino, says the lack of a well-defined constitution and party structures have come to haunt the Triple C.
The failure to have a constitution that is ratified at Congress, which enables the elements of processes, roles, accountability, and stability, and above all to tie loose ends. So the one who is to blame in this regard is none other than the leader of the opposition, Nelson Chamisa, because political participation in Zimbabwe was supposed to be premised on ensuring that as an organization or an institution, the Triple C had all things formally done in order to enhance its administration.
Some of the constituencies whose legislators have been recalled include Binga North, Kaudri Park and Mavuku, among others. Observers say the Citizens Coalition for Change's confusion is said to cost the nation as by-elections have to be conducted in the affected constituencies. Bruce Chawana, ZBC News, Harare.
Meanwhile, Triple C legislators caused chaos in the National Assembly this Tuesday as the opposition members of parliament failed to come to terms with the party's decision to recall 15 legislators.
The 10th Parliament resumed a sitting this Tuesday, with the major centre of attraction being the recalling of 15 Triple C members from the Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Mudenda, announced that Parliament has received a letter from the Triple C Interim Secretary General, Tenyezo Shabangu, to the effect that 15 parliamentarians have ceased to be party members.
I received a letter notifying me that the following members ceased to be members of the Citizens Coalition for Change, Triple C political party, with effect from the 3rd October 2023. The names were written as follows. Number 1, Partial Raphael Spanda, Country Park constituency. Number 2, Eric Gono, Lopengula Magwegwe constituency. Number 3, Nicola Jane Watson, Blawel South. And number 4, Desmond Makaza and Popoma Mzilikazi.
Triple C legislators, however, caused chaos in Parliament for close to 2 hours as they refused to acknowledge the signature of the letter as a bona fide party representative. Police had to intervene, resulting in some opposition party members being ejected from Parliament. After the chaos, attention shifted to debate on the recent State of the Nation address by President Emerson Mnangagwa.
I rise on a motion to urge this House to expedite the passage of the Youth Bill as outlined in the 2023 State of the Nation address. This bill is long overdue and will provide a comprehensive framework for promoting the development and empowerment of the youth in Zimbabwe.
The extended lifespan of the women's quota, 60 seats, 10 of which are young women, and the introduction of the youth quota puts Zimbabwe on the global good record of political inclusion of women and youth, and this is highly commendable.
The Second Republic has bolstered Zimbabwe as a favorable investment destination in the agricultural and mining sectors, as witnessed by the growth percentages or the trajectories that has been witnessed.
Legislators also reminded each other of the need to expedite debate and enactment of certain pieces of legislation. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
The setting up of a technical committee to oversee Harare's water issues has been described as a masterstroke which buries the opposition-led council's administrative inadequacies that have left residents struggling to access water for the past 2 decades.
Central government has established a 19-member technical team whose mandate is to ensure provision of potable water in Harare. The major focus is on increasing treatment works and sink boreholes as a stopgap measure. Analysts believe central government's proactive measure was long overdue and lays bare the inadequacies of opposition-led local authorities.
Central government has taken a proactive measure in making sure that the issue of water in its potable format and in its cleanliness is provided to the residents. And the minister responsible for setting up this committee has exercised his oversight role in making sure that the city fathers are held to account.
Residents stressed the need for a long-lasting solution on account of council admission of failing to execute its mandate.
This is a welcome move. Sema residents, we really appreciate the government stanzi yavatora in terms of bringing water in our homes. So we just cross our fingers kuti zvavari kuita zvacho zvese zvikurumidze zvaita tikwanise kuwana mvura. Tiri kumashure kwenguva zvirwere zviri kuwanda uye rain season iri kuuya zvakare.
The team of experts is chaired by civil engineering lecturer Professor Hodson Makurira, whose immediate task is to increase provision of potable water in Harare from 40 to 60%. Prior to this intervention, government had already begun long-term projects for water provision in Harare through construction of Kunzu Dam, while the Gwaishangani Lake is expected to rescue Bulawayo from the same plight. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
You are still watching the main news. Remember, we have a website. It is www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can go there and check out more stories and also these ones in more detail.
You can also follow our WhatsApp channel, that is at ZBC News Online.
Also link up with us on various social media platforms. We are ZBC News Online. Still to come in this bulletin. In international news, Zimbabwe calls for peace in the Gaza Strip.
In sport, Warriors to play the Zebras of Botswana in an international friendly this Saturday.
We're off to a break. We'll be back shortly with more news.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Zangu rinobva waneta ukashingirira mune zvimwe zvinhu kana dai riri basa uchishingirira unozowa nekukohwa kwakanaka.
Ndakarasikirwa nevabereki vangu ndichiri mudiki. Ambuya vangu ndo vakasara neni. Takatombotambura zvekushaya mari yekuenda kuchikoro. Chataive nacho munda vatairima chibage nebhinzi. Pandakatanga kudyara mabhanana ndakaona kuti tairasikirwa neanenge asara zvakanyanya. 30% yegohwo redu tairasa. Nekudaro takatanga kufoma kambani inonzi Nezox Brands. Kuderedza kurasikirwa kwegohwo zvatakaita takatanga kutora zvatinenge tarasa tikazvichinja kuita hupfu. Hupfu hwemhando yemabhanana hunogona kubikwa sebota kana kubika chingwa. Takuita zvigadzirwa zvemhando yemabhanana zvakaita sema-dried snacks, mafuta emabhanana newaini chaiyo. The Old Mutual 825 Innovation Hub yakatipa mukana wekusangana nekufambidzana nevamwe vanoitawo zvemabhizinisi. Kuburikidza nechirongwa ichi ndakadzidza nekunyoresa kambani, kushambidza zvigadzirwa nekutengesa. Ndakakwanisa kuti bhizinisi riendere mberi nekuwedzera zvigadzirwa. Ndinoramba ndichingopusha, ndinogara ndichirangarira mashoko andakaudzwa nambuya vangu. Mubayiro wacho uri kuwandudzwa nekuchinja mararamiro evanhu munharaunda yangu.
Creating mutual futures by investing in young entrepreneurs. Old Mutual. Let's do great things every day.
1,500 movies? I don't want this flight to end.
The Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Honorable Jem Soda, the Honorable Deputy Minister, Dr. Polite Kambamura, the Chief Directors and staff of the Ministry would like to congratulate Mr. Pfungwa Kunaka on being appointed as the Permanent Secretary for Mines and Mining Development. The mining industry looks forward to working with you as we attract more investors, making Zimbabwe a world-class mineral resource governance destination. Makora Koto, congratulations, Amhlope.
Made with pure mango and available in a mouth-watering 500 milliliter pack. Now you and your family can enjoy Dama fruit juice from your nearest retailer. This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare.
The fourth round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from 10 to 13 October 2023. The child's left finger will be painted to indicate that they have been vaccinated. Let us join hands to keep Zimbabwe polio-free. This message is brought to you in the best interest of children by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, with support from WHO, UNICEF, and other partners.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. A government has called on the warring parties in the Middle East to exercise maximum restraint and allow humanitarian workers access in the region as deaths from the Israel-Palestine conflict continue to rise.
In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade said it is closely following the developments and is deeply concerned by the ongoing conflict that has resulted in over 1,000 deaths, with others being displaced. It further called for Israel and Hamas to exercise restraint and allow humanitarian aid in the region, while calling for urgent revival of political processes aimed at finding a durable and just solution which respects the right to self-determination of the Palestinian people. Spokesperson for the United Nations Human Rights Chief, Ms. Ravina Shamdani, says Israel's total siege of the Gaza Strip, depriving civilians of goods essential for survival, is banned under international law.
The imposition of sieges that endanger the lives of civilians by depriving them of goods essential for their survival is prohibited under international humanitarian law. Any restriction on the movement of people and goods to implement a siege must be justified by military necessity, or it may amount to collective punishment.
The World Health Organization has called for a humanitarian corridor to be established into and out of the Gaza Strip.
The World Health Organization is also calling for an end to the violence. Health facilities, patients, health workers, and civilians in general have to be protected and safeguarded, as Dr. Tedros has said over the weekend. A humanitarian corridor is needed to reach people with critical medical supplies, and WHO will work with partners.
Palestinian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Tamir Al-Masri, reiterated the call for the end of Israeli occupation in a Palestinian territory.
The reality of what is happening in Palestine nowadays show us in very clear way that the structure of the United Nations should be changed. What they created after 1945 cannot work in 2023. And I think the Palestinian people raise its voice with the African continent to change, and with the other raised countries to change this structure.
Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he recognizes the legitimate concerns of Palestinians and Israel's security concerns, adding that it is alarmed and distressed by the actions of both parties. He urged all parties to immediately cease these attacks and release all hostages, while leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, says Israel will receive a heavier slap for the regime's ongoing massacre of the Palestinian people in the besieged Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Health Ministry confirmed that Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 704 people and injured more than 3,900 others since the unprecedented operation by Hamas.
We now switch cities from Harare all the way to Bulawayo. Good evening, Marilyn.
Good evening, and it's always a pleasure to you, Zane and Joyce. And now in our following report, Zimbabwe has launched the fourth round of the polio vaccination campaign, which seeks to protect children below the age of 5 from the highly infectious disease. Our health editor, Abigail Tembo, has more.
The government has deployed enough resources for the fourth round of the polio vaccination campaign, which seeks to protect almost 3 million children below the age of 5. Speaking at the launch of the vaccination campaign at Chinotimba Clinic in Victoria Falls, the Minister of Health and Child Care, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, reaffirmed the government's commitment towards eradication of the highly infectious disease.
Adequate doses of polio vaccines have been procured, and together with all other campaign resources have been pre-positioned in all provinces, districts and health facilities. Our teams have started vaccinating children today as scheduled. The ministry is geared to achieve and even surpass the recommended target of vaccinating and protecting at least 95% of the 2,773,940 children under 5 years in the country.
World Health Organization country representative Professor Jean-Marie Dangu commended the government of Zimbabwe for the strengthened routine immunization and disease surveillance programs.
The ongoing efforts to protect the children in Zimbabwe against the risk of infection with polio virus is commendable. The launch of this fourth and last round of polio campaigns after 3 successful ones where coverage was about 95% is a testament of government's commitment towards polio eradication.
Parents who brought their children for vaccination are aware of the dangers associated with the disease.
Polio because ane right yake mwana kuti awane mavaccinations nazvinodzivirira mwana kuwana zvirwere.
Hayi ngiyajabula kakhulu ngoba sengikwazi ukuthi sevikelekile kugogeni la kuyo yonke nje imikhuhlane ehlasela abantwana. Church basivumela vesibelethele ekliniki siyahlabisa ekliniki konke senze ekliniki.
Ngize lapha ekliniki ngizothontisela umntana wami ipolio. Ipolio incedisa emntwaneni ukuthi engagogakali. Ngwalandela ngohlelo lwakhona kuhle abantwana abaningi ngohlelo umbise ekliniki uzomthontisela ipolio yakhule egogekile so isisinqumo esisindise phansi.
Poliomyelitis, commonly known as polio, is a highly infectious disease which attacks the body's nervous system. The virus can also attack the nerves in the spine, leading to paralysis. Polio can also paralyze the muscles responsible for breathing and swallowing, while death is imminent in the absence of medical intervention. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Service delivery and healthcare services are set to improve in Vungu area of Midlands Province after the commissioning of utility service vehicles and a mobile clinic under the Devolution program.
The equipment is expected to address the issue of poor road network, while healthcare facilities have been brought to the community's doorsteps as the implementation of the Devolution program continues to transform livelihoods.
Wakufara zvakanyanya nokuti president vanoda vanhu vavo kana vakarwara mobile clinic yava kusvika kuvanhu nokuti utano ndopanoti munhu wese anoda utano hwakanaka. Tafara zvekuti tinotonzwa kuti kuvhungu kwacho kwawedzerwa empowerment nokuti kwave nemadrivers ave employed kuvhungu nemwachadriver tipa truck mwachadriver TLB tava mota yedu netipa zvekare.
Government says it will continue to implement people-centered projects to attain an upper middle income society by 2030.
The equipment will greatly enhance the capacity of the local authority to provide efficient and effective services to the communities. We can now look forward to a better maintained roads in Vungu. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, these projects are not mere infrastructure development initiative, but rather milestones of hope and progress for our rural communities.
At the inception of the Second Republic, he has witnessed massive development in terms of economic and social services in previously marginalized communities as government has adopted an inclusive development approach. Tafaraj Kumira, ZBC News, Vongu.
4 candidates have successfully filed their nomination papers at Masvingo Magistrates Court to participate in the Gutu West by-election slated for the 11th of November.
The nomination court, which sat at Masvingo Magistrate Courts, opened at exactly 10 a.m. this Tuesday to receive nomination papers for the Gutu West by-election. 4 candidates, including Comrade John Paradza of ZANU-PF, Morudu Ephraim of Triple C, Kurwa Robson of NCA, and Mudzingwa Martin Sebastian, an independent candidate, successfully filed their papers.
Ndaenda kamirira John Paradza Gutu West ZANU-PF candidate just to confirm candidate yake sezvanga agara ari yakamirira musangano, so zvese zviri in order. Tatomirira vari kuda kukwidza vacho tusangane musi wa11 November.
Mapepeda agamuchiro zvakanaka and we are quite happy neprocess yacho. Environment iri pano is very peaceful, very nice, very peaceful, friendly people around, and I think if it could continue like this, then it's very good.
We managed to file our papers in time, and the process was more than good. The environment was conducive, and with that situation, I think we are more than ready for the elections.
Tatango kuzokonfirma kuti process yese yakaitwa zvakanaka here, hapana ma irregularities here tingasangana nawo, because isi yedu yatakatoisa kutara.
Zimbabwe Electoral Commission Masvingo Provincial Elections Officer Mr. Zex Pudurai said the process went on smoothly and they are now focusing on setting up the multi-party liaison committee and rolling out voter education in Gutu West.
Now we've done, the nomination court, and we've got the 4 candidates which are now ready to, to go into the by-election of Gutu West. We're going to set up what we call the multi-party liaison committee, where we're going to meet the candidates or their chief election agents so that we can discuss the way forward.
The Gutu West by-election comes after the death of an independent candidate, Christopher Mutono, in a road traffic accident. Before August 23 general elections, the Electoral Act compels ZEC to defer a constituency election should a candidate die between the sitting of the nomination court and the polling day, or even while voting process is in progress. President Emerson Mnangagwa has since declared 11th of November as the by-election day. Messi Bof, ZBC News, Masvingo.
And that's it for myself, Marilyn Gwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. Main news continues from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, and Zain is on standby. Zain, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. We bring it back to Harare, where we still continue in the courts, where a 28-year-old man from Ushiwakunze in Harare has appeared in court for allegedly raping his 9-year-old stepdaughter.
In a suspected case of child sexual exploitation, the man is alleged to have raped his stepdaughter before threatening to disown her if she disclosed the matter. It is alleged that the accused sexually abused the young girl on several occasions after being left to take care of her in the absence of the 9-year-old's mother. The complainant eventually opened up to her mother about the abuse, leading to the arrest of the accused. Meanwhile, another 9-year-old girl from Zwarasekwa fell victim to her father's younger brother who sexually abused her. The court heard that the 23-year-old uncle sneaked into the girl's bedroom where he raped her once. The accused have been remanded in custody and advised to approach the High Court for bail. Under the new legislation, a rapist can be jailed for up to 15 years, but a convicted sexual offender can also be imprisoned for life if the victim is a child or if the sexual offense was committed under aggravating circumstances. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
And we stay at the courts where more than 1,000 cases have been concluded at Epo's Magistrates Court, which opened its doors to the public in March this year. Peter Jivima with that report.
Epo Zimbabwe in Harare is one of the beneficiaries of the Second Republic's Justice Decentralization Initiative, and to date, Epo the Magistrates Court has handled more than 1,000 cases with domestic violence, theft and assault dominating court proceedings. ZBC News is also informed that out of more than 1,000 cases, 800 were completed while in excess of 560 people were convicted.
taipinda basa rekuti titevere kumarimandi kwavanenge vachinzi vari zvakare kuti vanotongwa nyaya saka mazuva ano zvateerukira kuti vana vedu vakangopinda pakoti pakupinda kuchaji office akangobva kuchaji office kana nyaya yake ichinda mukoti akutopinda mukoti
namba inenge yakuita shoma nekuti vakuziva kuti pano pane koti kudhara vamwe vaipara panozotsvagwa anenge atotiza munharaunda ozonobatwa wakune imwe nzvimbo saka zvakatorerutsa stereki
kana koti iri padhuze zvakatotibatsira kuita kuti isusu hatizoenda kure mapurisa akashanda basa ravo rokutisungira vana tinoteerera nyaya dzedu dzokubirwa tiri padhuze.
Koti iri kushanda iri kuita basa rayo zvinhu zvakanaka ukensi kuti vanhu vataitoziva kuti tunozoti uyu munhu imbavha zvekutorevesa chaizvo mumusha tikutoona kuti munhu iyeye ari kutozopiwa mutongo wake zvichienderana neumbo hunenge huripo wakazara wokuti munhu yapara mhosva.
The development has also brought relief to the local leadership.
When we look at the sand poachers and other people who may have broken the law, they are being taken to the courts immediately and justice is delivered immediately. And it will not actually put a burden on the police to look after the accused before they are taken to the courts for trial.
The construction of courthouses across the country is part of government's inclusive development agenda. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The main news takes a break and we will be returning with business.
Imagine a future where Zimbabwe's mineral wealth is fully harnessed, fueling a vibrant and prosperous economy. At the forefront of this economic transformation stands one industry: mining. Join fellow visionaries who share your aspirations for this future from the 1st to the 3rd of November in Bulawayo at MineEntra 2023. As the gateway to boundless prospects in mining and mineral enrichment in Zimbabwe, MineEntra brings together experts in mining, transportation, engineering and construction industries. MineEntra 2023, accelerating economic transformation through mineral beneficiation.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe. This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The fourth round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from 10 to 13 October 2023. The child's left finger will be painted to indicate that they have been vaccinated. Let us join hands to keep Zimbabwe polio-free. This message is brought to you in the best interest of children by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, with support from WHO, UNICEF, and other partners.
Just close the doors, and you're in a world of your own. Travel is not just about the destination, it's also about how you get there. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Transserve has something exciting for civil servants. Civil servants can pay in installments of up to 12 months for genuine motor spares above $30, like batteries, tires, shocks, and service kits on zero deposit. Make a wise investment to safeguard the value of your car. Visit any Transserve shop nationwide with a copy of your ID, SSB payslip, and 3 months bank statement. Transserve, Zimbabwe's leading automotive solution.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. We jump straight into business, where government is forging ahead with measures to stamp out substandard imports by engaging global monitoring agencies to protect consumers.
A Swiss-based company, Cotecna Inspections, which has been offered a contractor to monitor substandard imports, is upbeat about the need to facilitate quality external products and services.
We are honored to come to Zimbabwe, supporting the Zimbabwe government with safeguarding the import of goods.
Zimbabwe's distribution value chains are also expecting tighter monitoring of imports to protect local consumers. Government has, however, reaffirmed a commitment to quality imported commodities.
We are so happy as a Minister of Industry and Commerce, as we have seen that long back there was nothing like this. And we are so happy that our President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, has advocated for this program to happen.
Under a consignment-based conformity assessment CBCA program, government is also focusing on an equitable regional and international trade system. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's our business update, taking us straight to the arts. And musicians from Zimbabwe and South Africa are set to share the stage at the inaugural Culture Fest, slated for Harare's Belgravia Sports Club on the 26th of this month.
Making its debut this year with a star-studded lineup comprising some of Zimbabwe and South Africa's finest artists, the Culture Fest will be headlined by revered contemporary musician Ja Praiser.
We are mixing different musical cultures, or we're amplifying our cultures via music, basically. So it's a show that we're bringing a couple of artists from South Africa and a couple of artists from Zimbabwe as well, and we're putting them together so that they can mix and find different synergies amongst themselves.
Culture Fest coincides with the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which will see proceeds being channeled towards assisting cancer patients.
We're trying to raise awareness on breast cancer through educational material, and also a part of our proceeds from the event is going to go to a foundation in need or any individual that might need help with treatment or surgery.
This year's edition will feature top acts including Enzo Aishal, Shasha, DJ King Hair, Lady Do, DJ Tamuka, Nadia Nakai, and Black Diamond. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
The main news takes a break, and when we return, Jeffrey Murimbechi will walk us through sport.
1,500 movies. I don't want this flight to end.
Important notice from the Ministry of Health and Childcare. The fourth round of polio vaccination for all children under 5 years of age in Zimbabwe starts on Tuesday 10 October to Friday 13 October 2023. Ministry of Health and Childcare teams will visit homes to vaccinate and protect all children. Vaccination will also take place in all health centers, markets, churches, bus stations, and other public places during these days. The nationwide polio vaccination campaigns were initiated in 2022 following the detection of poliomyelitis cases in Malawi and Mozambique. Polio is a dangerous disease that can cause paralysis or death of children. Protect your child by having them vaccinated from 10 to 13 October 2023. The child's left finger will be painted to indicate that they have been vaccinated. Let us join hands to keep Zimbabwe polio-free. This message is brought to you in the best interest of children by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, with support from WHO, UNICEF, and other partners.
You have helped build Tel One, a better Tel One, and the world around us. A better world where we can live together, learn together, play together, work together, grow together. Our journey together continues today. Now we must focus on making our future even better. A better future for our children. Join us and let us do this together. Tell one, the future is better together.
Just close the doors, and you're in a world of your own. Travel is not just about the destination, it's also about how you get there. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Welcome to Sports News. My name is Jeffrey Marimbechi. Zimbabwe will go into the last group match against Botswana at the ongoing COSAFA Women's Championship this Wednesday, gunning for at least 1 point to make it into the semi-finals.
The other three teams that will play in the semi-finals have already been confirmed, and the winner between Zimbabwe and Botswana will join them. The Mighty Warriors will make it to the semi-finals even if they draw against Botswana. The players are, however, not leaving anything to chance.
Kufara kuti vamwe kungonyaso vamwe vangochitaurawo vakawanda unongochitaura zvisiri makomi saka ndovatangoratidza kuti aiwa togona kungobudirira pagame.
The technical department is, however, approaching the match with caution. Zimbabwe are top of Group C with 6 points from 2 matches, followed by Botswana with 4 points. The Mairs of Botswana need nothing short of victory to qualify, while a draw will be good enough for the Mighty Warriors. Earlier in the day, Mozambique and Zambia were confirmed as the two other semi-finalists who will join Malawi in the last four. Zambia walloped Comoros 5-1 to progress to the last four as group winners, while Mozambique, who amassed 7 points, also qualified as the best placed runner-up. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Soweto.
Back home, the Castle Agri Premier Soccer League has postponed match day 27 fixtures scheduled for this Wednesday to pave way for Zimbabwe's international friendly against Botswana at the National Sports Stadium on Saturday.
With all eyes on World Cup qualifiers which get underway next month, a warrior squad featuring local and foreign-based players will take on Botswana to widen the player selection base. With this in mind, the PSL has postponed matchday 27 fixtures scheduled for this weekend. In a statement, the PSL said the fixtures have been moved to the 18th and 19th of this month. The postponement of the PSL fixtures will also give the Baltimore Brito-led Warriors, featuring local and foreign best players, game time during the FIFA international break. Zimbabwe is preparing for World Cup qualifiers, which get underway next month. The Warriors will begin their campaign with a match against Rwanda. Anna Shemurombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Highlanders fans have refused to give up the league title despite the Bulawayo Giants falling to third in the Castle Agri Premier Soccer League table after a string of poor results.
Numbers do not lie, and it is a fact that Highlanders are going through their worst spell in the 2023 Premier Soccer League campaign. Having gone for a remarkable 19-match unbeaten run, the Bulawayo Giants have found the going tough in recent weeks, collecting a paltry 4 points from their last 7 games. While the team is staggering in darkness, some Highlanders fans are refusing to throw in the towel and strongly believe Boss will bounce back to winning ways, while another section is lost hope.
Kuyisihluku kakhulu ngoba iHighlanders ivele iteam yelizwe lonke. Sikhangelela ukuthi iperforme kahle. Isinika ama-results amahle kakhulu. NjengoJoshua Nkomo wathi ekhulumile, wathi abantu abamlingalahli i-team sizazama ukuyala silala siqinisele sibasupport ukuthi beperforme kahle.
Into eyenzakalayo kathesi ngathi sokungena umnyama eteamini ngoba iteam leyana idlala kuhle sibili kodwa i-finishing yiyo elekayo kuphela, but ungalusa one game, lose the second game, next game you lose confidence.
Football administrator Omega Spand, who is close to the developments at Highlanders, is convinced the Bosso executive slept on duty.
What I consider myself at Highlanders is that they don't have top quality players. They've got players who are leftovers from other teams who have been relegated from the first team. Those are the players whom they pick. Unlike Highlanders of yesteryear, where we're picking top players from every other small team. But now we find a team like Bulawayo Chiefs, a small team, has got a player like Chirinda. He's there, but Highlanders not taking him. Plenty youth players are at various levels of play at different teams, but Bosso is not taking them. Bosso has got a below average player. Below average players, you cannot expect results.
Highlanders have not won the league since 2006, and the title they desperately need is slipping away after the former log leaders slumped to third with 45 points, 6 behind log leaders Ngezi Platinum. Mthokozi Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Will Bosso get the title? Well, that is the question of the evening. And that wraps up sport and good morning on our main news. Coming up next is the weather report and forecast.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. It's time for today's weather report and forecast. My name is Baba Maketa. We had cloudy conditions in the extreme southern areas of the country. However, the clouds later dissipated as the day progressed, while the rest of the country remained sunny throughout the day. For our forecast tomorrow, we're expecting mostly sunny conditions throughout the country and temperatures from 30 to 40 in the low valves. These temperatures in detail, we're expecting Harare to have a maximum of 31 and a minimum of 14, Bulawayo 34 and a minimum of 14, Gweru 30 and 12, Mutare 32 and 13, Kwekwe 35 and 13, Kadoma should be hot with a maximum of 36 and a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius. Mashingo 36, that's hot as well with a minimum of 13 degrees Celsius, Chinoi 32 and 13, Lupane should be the hottest with a maximum of 40 and a minimum of 12, Pindura 33 and 13, Marondera 31 and 11, Gwanda 37 and 13. Our major resort areas, we're expecting Kariba to be the hottest with a maximum of 40 and a minimum of 26 degrees Celsius, Victoria Falls 39 and 19, Great Zimbabwe 35 and 17, Nyanga 25 and 15. Matopo should have a maximum of 36 and a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius, Chimanimani 30 and 18. Our outlook, that is the weather for Thursday, we're expecting the same conditions throughout the country, and it should be rather hot as well. Thank you, Zimbabwe, and that's all we had from the weather desk. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
The weather report and focus capping the main news for tonight, and it is a wrap from all of us here. It is good night.
Good night.
rwaramba Zimbabwe yaramba Zimbabwe yaramba Zimbabwe yaramba Police the police guard the guard chair the chair chef the chef.
It is a good evening and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ian Vambe and this is your favorite program, Combating Corruption, where we get to look at all issues around corruption. What is being done by the Zimbabwe anti-corruption when it comes to issues that, like we said, are focusing on combating corruption. And in the building today, we do have Mr. Taona Isheduwe, who is coming through from the External